Anthony's with us in Panama City, Florida. Hi, Anthony. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to talk to you and John.
Sure. How can we help?
Got a question. Just wanted to get some opinion, have some men speak some knowledge into this. My wife and I want to own a campground someday. We've come to this, we call it our vocation. We want to own one, and we don't know what that's going to look like as far as something that we would fund fully with cash to acquire a campground, like an RV park campground, or if you get a loan, take on debt to do so.
So this is like a dream in the future?
Yes.
Okay, cool. How old are you guys?
I had to think about that for a second. I'm 30. My wife's 28.
Okay, cool.
When you turn 30, you hear, memory
you
loss.
start losing your hearing. Yeah.
And memory loss.
In your memory.
Right away.
And your speech patterns.
Exactly.
So
why camping, man? What is it about camping?
Well, we both love it. It's funny. I'm like kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. I'd like to do everything, and we've been spending a lot of time at night, talking about what we want to do with our future, and we've settled on this idea that, this is something that could really get the gears turning for us and keep us busy, and we work really well together, and we'd like to do it together, and we plan to live there too. So we see ourselves living on a campground, or at least in close proximity, absorbing and taking on the lifestyle of being campground owners.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, the first time you run a business of any kind, you start finding out that you didn't know what you didn't know. There's all these little surprises that go, woohoo! You went, I had no idea. And they're like, yep, you had no idea. That's why we got you. And you're going to discover that regardless of what kind of business you own, the first time you own a business and run a business. And it's more than just keeping the toilets cleaned in this case, or the electrical hookups working, or whatever jack of all trades things. You got all this other stuff called accounting and marketing and collections and payment systems and a website, because that's how everyone does everything now, right? Oh, maybe even an app, right? And so, that's got a lot. That's a long way from running wiring to the picnic shed, okay? And so, there's a lot of different skills you're going to have running a business that you need to develop over time. And you don't want to discover those with big, hairy payments coming at your face every month. I would rather you discover those more gently than that. So let's say that since this is just a dream at this point, let's just adapt what some middle steps are. You're wanting to go from 0 to 100 in one leap. And how can we do this in the middle? And I'll give you an example. I don't borrow money, and I'm not going to tell you to borrow money. So we're going to work our way through there, because I'm not. That doesn't mean I'm a dream killer either. I want you to live a dream, but I don't want your dream to be a nightmare. So I love, in your case, you love campgrounds. I love real estate. And a building that we moved into, of 55,000 square feet, was a $5 million building, and that was 20 years ago, I think, something like that. Let's just call it 20 years ago. And we didn't have $5 million, but I really, really wanted to own this building, kind of like you want to own a campground. You following me?
Yes.
Okay. So what did I do? I leased it with an option to purchase it for 5 years. I didn't have $500,000, much less $5 million. But I started collecting all the nickels out of the corner of the couch for the next 5 years and barely scraped together the money at the last minute and exercised the option after 5 years. Thank God I did, because by then the building was worth $13 million and I bought it for $5 million. So what's known as a freaking deal, right? But I did not borrow money, and I was telling God all along while I was looking for the nickels in the corner of the couch, if you don't send the money, I'm not buying this, because I'm not going to borrow money, period. And me and God had a lot of conversations about that. So I kind of had to lay my guidelines out. But during that time, I learned a lot about that building. We learned that the former owner had not taken care of the roof, and the former owner had not taken care of the heat and air. And we learned that the heat and air was from another century. And we had to go in and rework a bunch of that, and boiler, baling wire and duct tape. How does this run parallel to what you're saying? Maybe a way to do something similar might be go to work for a campground. Be the general manager. And maybe they provide housing, and you stay there, and you run the whole thing for an absentee owner. And that includes you doing the repairs, and you learning how to do the accounting, and you learning from the owner how he did marketing for the past 20 years, because he was doing this stuff when you were knee-high to nothing. and let's get in there and just get it all over you a little bit. And you might discover you freaking hate it, but you might discover it's even better than you thought. And this is like awesome. And then you might be able to option it and buy it from him with the profits instead of with debt.
Okay.
I'm making
Yeah, I
up a
definitely
dream
like-
scenario, but I'd rather make up one of those than you go get an SBA loan and call me up 4 months later and go, I'm broke. Oh, by the way, COVID hit and they don't allow camping anymore.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I
that
like
never
the
happens.
I like the slower move into it, like you guys say when I watch show. You don't want to jump or leap into it because we're both gainfully employed now, and we're just thinking of the options. You know, how do we keep?
But
our
I mean,
jobs
let's just
and
say,
do it?
what do you make a year?
Combined, we're about 160.
No, what do you make?
Before taxes? 82,000.
Okay. Well, let's say he paid you 60 to run the campground. You took a pay cut, but you got an option to buy the thing from him anytime in the next 7 years as a part of operating it for him. I'm modeling after my little building deal, and you can make it up. You can make up a different narrative, a different story, but the point is walk into it, don't leap into it, and lay your structure out to do that.
Yeah, the word that keeps coming to mind is let's practice. Before we go to the major leagues, let's practice. Let's at least take some batting practice before we decide this is what we're going to do forever. I love that idea. And even if you can't get a job at a campground in your local area, get a job at working the evening shift at a local hotel, hospitality industry. Because the campground industry,
It's tough.
it's a lot of people, man. That's a tough gig.
Well, and these are, if something's broken, it's broken like right then.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m.
That's right.
It's broken right
And if you live on, the reason they let you live on site
is because they're going to come knock
They
on
want
your
you to come
door.
get it.
You
That's
are
right.
you are the emergency toilet guy. That's your job, man. And I mean, welcome to doing it. That's it's okay. It's part of the gig, and there's no downside of that except that that's who it is.